Hey everybody, and welcome back to the shop. And today is Saturday, and I think it might rain today. It's been rainy all week, but it's fairly warm for February. I think it's about 65 degrees. Got out here yesterday and tried to do some videoing, and my camera kept fogging up. So I'm gonna try it again today, and it's too humid to do any painting, so I thought, well, let's go ahead and jump on this radio, get this new radio installed. So that's the plan for the day, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to set y'all up in here. It is got parts out of the door laying in the seat. I'm gonna get that out of the way. I'll try to find my little tripod and a light, and we'll get you set up in here and see if we can get this old radio out. Alright, so on these old radios, we've just got 2 retaining nuts on the shaft. And also, if you look back in here, you might see a, get the light in there a little bit. You can see this bracket, the support bracket in the back. I'm not sure if this one's attached. So, if it is, and I think it is, I think it's actually just a piece of metal that's attached down here at the bottom. Yep, this bolt right here. We're going to get that off, and we'll pull this thing out, and it should just come right out the bottom, hopefully. It's a lot easier to get this radio out with the steering column out of the way, but you can maneuver it up under the dash. It's just you just have to take your time working it out from around all the wires. Well, it's a tight fit, but it did come out. Here's the bracket that's attached to the back. This goes to the underside of the dash, and then that goes up to the radio. And this is a factory bracket. Here's the part number. Maybe you can see that. You need to figure out the part number. And so this attaches to this, goes right up on this nut right here. So you can detach this, move it out, unscrew the nut and pull it out, and then you can take the nuts off the front here, back it out, pick it up in the back and bring it down to get access to these 3 plugs in the back. Unless you know exactly how them things pull out, it's hard to reach behind here and do it. You kind of need to see. But there's 3 separate plugs in the back of that. So this is the old radio, and I didn't think it was probably any good when I put it in. This is the one I bought Jacob for Christmas, and it should mount the same way. I'm thinking it should have a place for that bracket. The only difference is I may have to use the adapter for the antenna. I've got the radio adapters that the plugs from the factory plugs plug into this. This goes into the new radio, and you can see how old this is. It's been on the shelf in my shop out there for many years. So let's unbox this radio and see what we got here. I've never took it out of the box. We're gonna go ahead and try to do some pre-wiring on it before we ever install it. So, remember, this kit also comes with a it looks like a little bracket here. I'm hoping we can use the factory bracket. We may end up having to use this one. It also comes with a port I'm going to have to install in the dash for the iPod connector, the auxiliary input rather. So you can see it does mount with the shafts. This is a little bit different than most of them I've seen. The universal style that has the slide, you can mount in different holes. We can also see this radio is a lot thinner in profile, and I mean, it ain't even nowhere close to the original size. I mean, wow, this one's going to be a whole lot easier to get installed. It's kind of funny, they got a modified and engineered in the USA but made in China sticker on it, but whatever. can see on the back, we got a USB connector, and we got a iPod connector, and we got this place right here, I believe is where this connects to. Or this connects to this. I don't know what. Probably going to have to grab some instructions to see what all these connectors are. And I do notice on the back of this, there's no, on the side, there's no place for that bracket. There is a place in the back right here. So we'll have to mount that bracket in here. We'll bend it to fit. We've got a couple of plugs here. We can go ahead and remove these to make it a little easier. And this fuse, got a 15 amp fuse right here. And here's where the antenna plugs in. Right there. And I noticed on some of the newer models that this, where it looks like the old style radio, I hope y'all can see that, that don't show up until you cut it off, but on this one it's there all the time, it appears, unless it's part of this plastic right here. You know, so that's going to stay there all the time. I don't know if I really like that. I like it better when you cut it off, that goes away. Alright, so we got a couple of inline fuses here. We're going to go ahead and pre-wire this to our adapter kit. It looks like it's already mostly pre-wired on this side. It looks like it's just these plug-in style connectors. No heat shrink, just some. And of course it's all labeled. This is your speakers and this is your power wire. I'm not sure how I like that. I'll probably end up cutting these connectors off. I don't really care for those. Well, we got a ground, and this blue wire goes to a power antenna. We won't be using it. You can see it's got heat shrink on the end where it's not in use. Then we got an ignition source. So we're going to have a all-time, full-time battery, key on, and ground. And that's basically off for the power unless you got a power antenna. If we look at our connector, good old Radio Shack back probably in the 80s or late 80s, early 90s when I bought this. Radio Shack was still going strong. Not too strong nowadays. I'm not sure what that goes to. Alright, so these should be labeled on this kit here. So we got a power antenna is blue, so it's probably color coded on the power side. Red is 12 volt ignition source. We got a dimmer. Alright, so we can go one or two ways with this. The way they got it wired up right now is they got it where you can just unplug it. I'm not sure I like that idea. So what I want to do, grab me some glasses where I can read this stuff. I can either do a heat shrink, or I could do heat shrink tubing and solder it. It'd be easier to just do heat shrink. Just do these little pink ones, crimp it, heat shrink it, and or I do have some of those plug-in style. I don't know how many of these other ones I've got. I've got more spade connectors than I do these. I don't think I've got any. Well, not sure I got any female of them things. Got a bunch of males. So I don't think I'm going to go with this route here. So I think I'm going to go with the this style. Heat shrink, crimp it, It's just speaker wire and a little bit of power. It's not that big a deal. There's one thing I'm going to do on my speakers. I wired my speakers up backwards in the back. So the left speaker is actually on the right hand side and the right speaker's on the left, but we can fix that with the wiring. We'll just wire left positive to right positive and vice versa, and that'll be resolved. Alright everybody, I got this stuff wired up. Now what I did on the power wires and the grounds is I went ahead and soldered these and put some heat shrink on them. So I've got the ground, I've got the ignition positive. Now the truck did not originally have a power all the time, but the radio requires one. That's this yellow wire. So what I did, I had some more yellow wire. I just soldered another piece onto that, and I made a little longer piece. I got to find a place in the fuse block for this. Alright, the power antenna and the illumination, I just doubled over and put some heat shrink on it. We won't be using those. The speaker wires, they are color coded, but remember I reversed my left and right rear speakers, so all the ones that would be purple are green, and the ones that's green are purple. The rest of them, they are color coded correctly, red with a black. The black stripe ones are always negative, the solid colors are positive. So this is ready to go. I think I am going to put a little bit of tape or something on this just to kind of keep it like, you know, something like that, keep it out of the way. I don't reckon we're going to need this. They've already put heat shrink on the end of that power antenna, so we'll leave that like it is. The only thing we will have to do is find a power source that's on all the time for the memory. And I believe other than that, we're ready to get this thing installed. Okay, so I've got it temporarily installed, and I did have to adjust these nuts to get it to stick out a little further. Fortunately, without the dash on here, you really can't tell how far it needs to go. So temporarily, I'm going to install a bezel, and of course without the dash itself, you know, the dash pad, I'm not really sure how this is going to fit, but let me get this thing situated and we'll take a look at it. I think I'm going to end up having to bring it out a little more. Okay, so with the dash halfway installed, it's hard to show you, but it's without the dash pad. I mean, you're going to have a big gap up here at the top. You can see it's fitting flush down here. It's pretty tight over here on this AC fan switch. I don't like that, and of course it ain't really matching up here too good either. But it looks like we're going to come out at least, I'm going to say, at least about another ½ inch to be good. So at least I know. I'm pretty sure it's going to be all the way out on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and readjust it. Alrighty, so I had to take this gauge cluster back out and run that yellow wire around and down to the fuse box. And there's a mess of wires in there. I want to get in there and clean all that up. Up here I kind of just secured it right in there. And guess what? This thing works great. I haven't yet figured out how to adjust the speakers. I want to make sure all my speakers worked. But if we turn it on, just push it in. I might actually go get the knobs to stick on it. Alright, let's see. Alright, so I got it tuned into NPR so we can listen. Maybe won't get hit with accidentally listening to somebody's music. So unfortunately, we'll listen to NPR for a few minutes while I figure out this thing. So first when we turn it on, just push this button in. And we see it come up for
Says he's too
NPR.
scared to return to the happiest place on
And
earth.
got the volume. So we'll cut the volume down just a minute. And we want to adjust the balance. So pressing the tuning knob will toggle the LCD in this order: volume, bass, treble. Alright, so pressing that. And volume, bass, we can turn the bass up. We only go up to plus or minus 10. Treble, balance. Oh shoot, I think I've got this right on the left side. Well, apparently I got the dang speakers in the dash wrong too.
That was not to be.
No, and what happened? I mean, was it like somebody said to you, "Man, English majors, you never get a job," and you're like, "I'll get into something more stable, like acting."
Yeah, the odds were too good in English.
Oh well, as long as it's balanced, it works fine.
You and I both.
Yeah, I can't believe I could have. Sometimes I just wonder about me. I don't know if I actually wired it up right and thought I had it backwards. But I know I definitely wired it up backwards when I wired it up, so. Oh well, but anyway, it works great. And of course, we may have to do some fine tuning when I get ready to put the bezel on. I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming on the bezel around this edge right here to get this to fit in there good. And all that. But I got everything hooked up and working great. So thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe if you haven't.